Who was the alleged criminal element from northern Mississippi that Buford said was behind the August 12th ambush? And welcome back to Buford Pusser, the other story. We've got a lot to cover today because when we left off in the last episode, we were talking about how Buford had given up any aims of seeking revenge on those that were involved in the August 12th ambush. Of course, this came after Will Terry Abernathy repeatedly said that, there was a organized crime, a criminal element from northern Mississippi that he felt like was behind it. But Abernathy never gave us any names of who these individuals were that were involved in this conspiracy to assassinate Sheriff Pusser. So today we're going to start off with what the media was having to say about these situations. For instance, in front of me I have a clipping from the Kingsport Times News, and it is dated Sunday, September 24th, and basically what it discusses is the fact that, of course, Buford and Pauline were allegedly responding to a disturbance call at the state line. And it goes on to say that Will Terry Abernathy says that even after, what has it been, five and a half weeks, that they still have no suspects and that there are no arrests that are imminent. Beyond that, it talks about the possibility that all of the ambush was about revenge for the killing of Louise Hathcock 18 months earlier. Now, I don't know how any of this makes sense because they keep saying that it was done by an underworld criminal element, and they say it's from northern Mississippi, yet they don't have any names to go along with it. So it makes absolutely no sense why they keep repeating this, why they have no suspects, why no arrests are imminent, and why they keep overlooking the fact that maybe they should be looking at Buford. Now, the next article I have, which is from the Jackson Sun, dated September 26, 1967, Buford goes even beyond a criminal element from northern Mississippi, stating that it was from an organized crime syndicate in the United States. He claims, he states, I've cracked down on them, put them out of business, and he said they've been closed down for 18 months and they don't like it and they're trying to get back in. Still, he doesn't say who they are. He said the operators of the crime rings come from all over the United States, and it's a big operation that they were running, and that it cost them about $1 million a year. And in today's economy, when you look at that, that would be like saying it cost them $10 million a year in today's dollars. He said they're closed down, and they're going to stay closed down. But still, he never mentions who they are, just crime rings from all over the U.S. Now, something I might point out is there's nothing in the FBI files that support that claim. And just when you think that Buford couldn't be any more positive about who was behind it, the Kingsport Times reports on Wednesday, September 27, 1967, that Sheriff Pusser pledged to keep organized crime syndicate from reopening bootlegging, gambling, and confidence games in the southern part of his county. He goes on to say that the shooting of August 12th was in retaliation by the criminal element for him shutting everything down at the state line. Now, I think we can go back and we understand that Buford didn't shut anything down. Uh, there's almost no records of any raids that went on at the state line. The only two places that were open in his part of all this was the Shamrock Motel, because the restaurant was in Mississippi, and the White Iris. He had two locations that all this was supposed to be taking place at. So it seems like that there was a lot going on in Buford's mind about organized crime, but yet the FBI, TBI, nobody seems to know anything about it other than just Buford. Be sure and hit that subscribe button to get notification of new videos as they're released. Now it's time to talk about the obvious. Were there illegal activities at the state line? Yes, nobody denies that. There was bootleg alcohol coming down from Caruthersville, Missouri, that was being sold at the state line. Why? To avoid the taxes that had to be paid, to get it into Dry County. Was that a big crime in itself? No, it was more about money. It was about what the county wasn't collecting, what the state wasn't collecting. But as far as being like a major crime, it really wasn't. Now, otherwise, yes, you have some confidence games, like the Razzle game. Nobody denies that that happened, but it wasn't like you saw in Walking Tall, where you'd go into these places and they would have a casino set up in a back room. It's like any other place. A VFW building, American Legion building. Yeah, you walk in there, what are you going to see? You're going to see card games occasionally. It's gambling. It's big time. There's no sense that it was. So where is this $1 million that Buford is shutting down? Where is he getting that figure? What is there to actually prove that that was the case? What places did he actually shut down? Where's any proof of that? There's a lot of mystery here that people are missing. People aren't looking at because they see the movie Walking Tall and they follow it like that it is a documentary. It wasn't. It was a movie for entertainment purposes. They stretched the truth on everything about this story, it seems like. Let's address for just a moment what we actually know was going on at the state line. We do know that W.O. Hathcock, Howard Bunch, wanted to purchase the state line properties. They satisfied a lien from the IRS and obtained the properties legally. Something I should point out at the same time is that while they offered an opportunity for Towhead White to be involved in this, Towhead turned them down, didn't want any part of it. He was finished with that business, he said. And there's no indication that he was whatsoever involved in all this. You know, they reopened the restaurant, but that was on the Mississippi side of the line. They put a lot of the state line properties up for sale, and that included the motel. It, as far as I know, never reopened while W.O. and Howard Bunch owned it. They eventually sold the properties, but while they did have the White Iris, Larice Hathcock did obtain a beer permit to sell beer at the White Iris. Now, about the only time that Buford had any problem there after W.O. and Howard Bunch purchased the state line properties was when Junior Smith and some of his friends went down, shot the lock off of a private gate on a private road that was part of the state line properties that was owned by Hathcock and Bunch. Other than that, there weren't any problems at the state line. So it seems like Buford was making a mountain out of a molehill. And of course, the movies just seemed to go along with that theme. Well, this time Buford had conveyed a message through the media that he felt like that a criminal element in northern Mississippi was behind the ambush. The District Attorney General, Will Terry Abernathy, seemed to go right along with that, and with it, the ambush investigation died. The question that seems to be on everyone's mind is, did Buford kill Pauline? Did he have the help of an accomplice? Now, we've gone through a lot of the evidence. Of course, there's things right now that I can't say, but it appears that Buford should have been considered as a suspect in Pauline's death. You look at everything that occurred. The argument that was overheard prior to the ambush, where Buford threatened Pauline's life, Dennis and Johnny seeing a gun exchange, Carl Pusser calling Ward Moore, the county coroner, and telling him to go to the Pusser residence as the Pussers were in a fight and about to kill each other. When Moore arrived, Buford and Pauline were no longer at the home. He saw blood droplets on the carpet. At the same time, you have LaVon Plunk, who said that she heard a shot come from the house. You have Diane saying that she saw Buford carry and place Pauline's body in his car, not knowing whether she was just unconscious or if she was dead. You have the route that he took. You have the shell casings. So many things. The blood spatter. So many things that just scream that the investigation should have continued. But yet, it seems like that everyone was willing to just push it aside and take Buford's word for what he said happened that morning. How is it that a man his size could be shot only once in such close quarters, yet Pauline could be shot twice, as he claimed? He said she was only wounded at the first ambush site and killed at the second ambush site. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll find out if that part is true. Recently, as we know, there was an autopsy performed, and that should reveal some of the answers to many of the questions that we have. So we'll have to wait. It shouldn't be much longer. But this story is far from over at this point. There's so much more that we need to cover. So hang in, and as things unfold, we'll keep track of them. See you on Saturday with another Saturday Short. Until then, just remember, the truth has no agenda.